Hi students, this is A. Mandri Kumar Rajesh. In this video, we are going to discuss a topic called transgenic plants or genetically modified crops. First, let me give you the definition for transgenic plants. The plant genome is altered by one or more transgene is called as transgenic plants. That means the plant genome is altered by the recombinant DNA or a novel DNA which are introduced into the plant genome with the help of physical mediated gene transfer method or chemical mediated gene transfer method, which is result in the integration of that novel DNA with the plant genome shows the desirable novel character. After the integration of the novel DNA and plant genome, the plant can shows desirable novel character, and that plants are called as transgenic plants. Then why we have to create transgenic plants? What is the need to create transgenic plants? Because the plant can shows desirable traits or desirable characters. They are: the plant can shows resistance to biotic stress. The transgenic plants can show resistance against biotic stress. For example, virus. So the plant can resist against viral infection, bacterial infection, fungal infection, or other microorganisms. Then resistant to abiotic stress. So that plant can resist against high salinity, high temperature, herbicide, pesticide, high light intensity. Then improvement of crop yield and quality. So to improve the quality of the plant, and with the help of the technology we can improve the crop yield. Fourth point, transgenic plants with improved nutrition. We can improve or we can increase the nutrition of that particular plant with the help of that technique, and which are useful to mankind. Transgenic plants as bioreactors for the manufacture of commercial products, for example protein, vaccines and biodegradable plastics. So we are able to use the transgenic plants to produce commercial products like protein, vaccines and biodegradable products. So these are the reasons why we have to create transgenic plants. Then in this video we are going to discuss herbicide tolerant plants. How to create herbicide tolerant plant. Let me tell you how to create a herbicide tolerant plant, not resistant tolerant plant. In our book they have given two herbicides. They are glyphosate and glufosinate or basta. Why we have to create herbicide tolerant plant? Because in the agricultural field, weeds are growing along with the commercial crop, and they compete with the commercial crop for sunlight, water, nutrition and space. Not only space, it can act as a carrier for insects and disease causing agents. So weeds are big menace to commercial crop. It can reduce the crop yield significantly. So we have to eradicate the weed from that agricultural field by applying herbicide. So glyphosate is an herbicide. If we are applying that herbicide, it can eradicate the weed along with commercial crop. It can affect commercial plant too. So in order to prevent the commercial crop from the herbicide, we have to make the plant, commercial plant, herbicide tolerant. So we have to create herbicide tolerant plant in order to prevent that commercial crop from the herbicide. First, I am going to give you a brief introduction about the herbicide glyphosate. Glyphosate is an effective herbicide. It is less toxic to animals. It can rapidly degraded by microorganisms which are present in the soil. The American chemical company Monsanto markets glyphosate as Roundup So the trade name is Roundup. The trade name for glyphosate is Roundup. It is capable of killing plants even at a low concentration. It can kill the plant at low concentration. Then it can act as a competitive inhibitor. Competitive inhibitor means this glyphosate resembles the shape of substrate. Resembles the shape of substrate. That is why they are called as competitive inhibitor. Then I am going to tell you the mechanism of glyphosate action in the succinic acid pathway. So succinic acid pathway is very important for the plants in order to produce aromatic amino acids like tryptophan, phenylalanine, triosine, then phenolic compounds and secondary metabolites. So these compounds are very important for the plant growth, plant survival. So succinic acid pathway is an essential pathway in order to maintain the growth of the plant, in order to maintain the survival of the plant. So succinic 3-phosphate phosphoenol pyruvate, actually it is a substrate, phosphoenol pyruvate combines to form 5-enol pyruvate succinic acid 3-phosphate with the help of enzyme EPSP synthase. That means enyl pyruvate succinic acid 3-phosphate synthase. So succinic 3-phosphate and phosphoenol pyruvate combine to form 5-enol pyruvate succinic acid 3-phosphate with the help of the enzyme EPSP synthase. So this enzyme is a key enzyme for succinic acid pathway. Suppose if we are applying the herbicide glyphosate, this herbicide can bind with the enzyme EPSP synthase, because I already told you glyphosate can act as a competitive inhibitor. It resembles the shape of phosphoenol pyruvate. So it can bind with the enzyme EPSP synthase and it can block the succinic acid pathway. So plants are not able to produce aromatic amino acids like tryptophan, phenylalanine and triosine and phenolic compounds and secondary metabolites. So plants are not able to produce protein due to the inhibition of the glyphosate herbicide. It inhibits the protein synthesis. So plants are not able to divide their cell and growth also get reduced, results in the death of the plant. This is how the herbicide glyphosate, which eradicates the weed from the agricultural land, but it also affects the commercial crop. So we have to make the commercial crop tolerant to that herbicide glyphosate. In our book they have given two methods. They are incorporate a soil bacterium gene that produces a glyphosate tolerant form of EPS-PS. That means the plant genome has to incorporate with soil bacterium gene that can tolerate to glyphosate herbicide. The second method, incorporate a different soil bacterium gene that produces glyphosate degrading enzyme. So that soil bacterium gene can produce a protein or an enzyme which can degrade glyphosate. Then the other method is producing a physical or physiological barrier to prevent the entry of herbicide glyphosate into the crop. So these are some of the methods to make or to create herbicide tolerant plant, especially glyphosate. Then I am going to tell you about the next herbicide, Basta or glufosinate. Let me tell you the second herbicide called Basta or glufosinate. Basta contains active ingredient phosphinotricin, which can kill the plant by blocking the enzyme responsible for nitrogen metabolism. So nitrogen is the important component for all the living organisms. In plant, nitrogen is the major component for chlorophyll pigment. Then it is the major component for amino acid and it is the building block of proteins. If the plants are not able to produce nitrogen, they are not able to survive. So how can we make the plant tolerate to the herbicide, glufosinate or Basta? Crops can modify that to tolerate glufosinate or Basta by a bacterial gene, Bar gene. It is isolated from the bacteria Streptomyces hygroscopicus. It can produce phosphinothrycin acetate transferase, which can activate the active ingredient phosphinothrycin. Then crops can modify that to tolerate glufosinate or Basta by a plant gene PPT isolated from a plant Medica sativa. It inhibits the enzyme glutamine synthase, which is involved in ammonia assimilation. So we can use two types of genes, Bar gene and PPT gene, to make the crop tolerate to the herbicide, Basta or glufosinate. Then PAT gene means phosphinothrycin acetyl transferase gene or Bar gene, and PPT genes are introduced into crop plants like potato, tobacco and sugar beet in order to make transgenic plants. So that's all about the herbicide tolerant plants. Now I am going to tell you the advantages of herbicide tolerant plants. Let us talk about the advantages of herbicide tolerant crop. Weed control improves higher crop yield. So weeds are eradicated by the herbicide, but the crop plants can tolerate that herbicide. So weed control improves higher crop yield. Reduces spray of herbicide. The quantity of using herbicide get reduced. Reduces competition between crop plant and weed. Use of low toxicity compounds which do not remain in the soil. It is degraded by the microorganisms. The ability to conserve soil structure and microbes. So that's all about today's video. If you have any doubt, please let me know. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you.